it's because of COVID and the fact that it's waning, or perhaps there's some other reason out there. But there appears to be an increase in deaths and shootings suddenly. In fact, the numbers are startling. More than 233 people were killed in shootings across our country just over the 4th of July weekend. There are more than 540 shootings in all. Those are pretty big numbers. We're talking about a weekend, right? So what gives? Here's correspondent Saya Tavenger.
With a violent end to the 4th of July holiday, at least 233 people were killed and 618 people injured across the country. And while it's a 26% drop from last year's holiday weekend, according to data collected by the Gun Violence Archive, this may put 2021 on track to continue and even exceed the violent surge that made 2020 the deadliest year of gun violence in decades. Major cities bore the brunt of this violence, with 26 fatalities in New York City and 14 in Chicago. That figure also includes 4 children who were shot in Virginia Friday and 8 people who were hospitalized in a shooting near a car wash in Fort Worth, Texas. Elsewhere in Texas that same day, 5 men were found shot in Dallas. 3 were later pronounced dead. Meanwhile, in Ohio, a 17-year-old boy was killed when a block party was disrupted by gunfire. 7 others died, while 12 people were hurt in the shooting. Now, this comes as many of the nation's largest cities are struggling to contain a continued rise in violent crimes. Shootings in Chicago this year are up 15% to the same period in 2020. Shooting incidents in New York City are up 42.7% in the first half of the year compared to 2020, and shooting incidents in Philadelphia are up 47.5%, and the number of people shot has risen 50%.
All right. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Harakakadash. Double honor to all the elders and apostles of GMS that taught me the truth. And peace and shalom to my fellow Akim that are pushing this truth with all honesty and sincerity. Yahweh being the Heavenly Father, who the word English calls Lord or God. Yahweh Shai being his only begotten Son, who the word English calls Jesus Christ. Those are the ancient Paleo Hebrew names, which is known as the Lashwan Kodash, man. All right. And this is another installment of Violence in America. I think this is volume 3. You can really do one every damn day, man, at the rate that it's going. So you see Chicago up 15% compared to 2020. New York City up 42.7% compared to 2020. Philadelphia up 47.5% compared to 2020. Salakia. And what this is, man, at the end of the day, this is just judgment. Okay, this is just judgment. I don't know why it brought me there, man. This is Amos 3:10. For they know not to do right, saith the Lord Yahweh, who store up violence and robbery in their palaces. And this is what's going on here in Babylon the Great, man. All hell and anarchy and chaos is getting ready to break loose, especially here coming in Texas. I keep bringing up because they're going to allow you not to have a permit to walk around with a gun, man. All right. And crime and violence and robbery is already clearly it's already surfacing, which this video that we're bringing that I brought forth is about, man. Okay. And so let's get that in Zephaniah 3 and 5. Zephaniah 3 and 5. This is Zephaniah 3 and 5. The Lord Yahweh is in the midst thereof. He will not do iniquity. Every morning doth he bring his judgment to life. He faileth not, but the unjust knoweth no shame. And the unjust knoweth no shame, and evil men understand not judgment as well, man. Okay, and so this is basically what's happening, man. The Lord Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai is starting the purging of you 2/3, you wicked ass niggas and you wicked ass demonic women, man. As far as long as well as with the heathen nation, man. Why? Because judgment is getting ready to go out, man. All right. And as we all know, according to the book of Ecclesiastes, that the judgment plays out under here on earth, man. Okay, let me see if I can pull that up real quick. Was that in the Wisdom of Solomon? Man, my Bible's falling apart. My Bible's falling apart. This is I'll just bring it. I'll pull it up. Ecclesiastes 3:16. And moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment, that the wickedness was there, and the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there. Okay, the place under the sun, man, which is on earth, man. All right, because we are in the different times: a time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to pluck up, which is planted. And right now, it's time to pluck up, which is planted. And that's evilness, man. Okay, because the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is getting ready to bring judgment, but before, and as well as his kingdom, but before his kingdom comes, he has to purge out you bad seeds, man, if you will, right? Metaphorically speaking. And how is he going to do that? He's going to do that with fire, because the first time he did it, it was with water, all right? But he made that covenant with Abraham that he wouldn't flood the earth anymore, man. So we're going to get back into this video because we have another one that's coming up.
And 10,317. That's how many have died by gun violence in 2021 so far. 154 of these were children, and 629 of these deaths were teens. For News with Rick Sanchez, Cy Tavenger,
All right, so you got 10,317 people who killed from gun violence in 2021, man. Okay, 154 children between the ages of 0 and 11, 629 teens between the ages of 12 and 17, and 12,342 deaths by suicide alone, man. Okay, now we know that some of these numbers could be fabricated, all right, just for them to spread their agenda. But nevertheless, man, the will of the Lord Yahweh by Shemar Shai will still be there, man. Okay, there will still be violence and anarchy and chaos, and all hell will break loose, man. And we have not even touched the surface of it yet, man. All right, like the scriptures say in Matthew 24, the love of many shall wax cold, man. And we're starting to see that, man.
We were just showing you that sudden uptick that we saw over the weekend as America celebrated its birthday. There were just scores of people getting shot, shootings, deaths all over the country. When you look at a story like this, there's always the micro and the macro, right? I mean, on the one hand, look, people are celebrating again. People are getting out. People are drinking again. And that usually leads to bad things. Ask any police department anywhere in the United States, anywhere in the world, no less. But then there's the bigger picture of the fact that we just continue to be one of the most violent countries in the world. Which is it? Amisha is going to be joining us to talk about this. Amisha Crosso is Tyrell Ventura, two of my favorite people around here. Tyrell, get us started. Is it the micro or the macro? What's going on here?
Think about it like this, Rick. We love violence in this country. We love it as much as apple pie, you know, and it seems like that's because every summer it seems like there's always that same uptick. We always talk about it. You hear it over and over and over again that every summer, especially around the holidays, you know, whether it be Memorial Day, 4th of July, or Labor Day, you see the numbers.
But is it our nature? Is it our gun laws?
I think a lot of little different things depend on that. Yes, we have gun laws issues in this town, in this country completely that we don't have enough of. And also, look, we are a media obsessed violence country. We like hearing those stories. Plus, let's not discount the fact that what's happening over the last 2 years. We're talking about massive crackdowns and calls for reforming the police. So, what do police do in response? Well, we have to pump that message out here. Look how dangerous and violent this country is. So that way, you can't reform us. You can't cut us down. You can't ask for these things because we're here to protect you day in and day out. When, look, man, just to be clear, 15,600 people were injured by fireworks in 2020. So now that's not to take anything away from the tragedy of these deaths.
Right.
But you also have to look into numbers. Over 500 died in car accidents over the July 4th weekend in 2019. So there's a lot of different ways people die in this country, not just by guns. It's not to take away from the tragedy of that, but it's just to put things in a little more perspective.
A lot of judgment, man, and the Lord there to the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai. There is no respect of person, man. All right, the old or the young. Matter of fact, let's see if we can get that in. I think it's Ezekiel, the 9th chapter. Yeah, we'll start at 3. Oh, let me see. No, I might have to start at. I have to start at 2. Actually, I'll start at 1. This is Ezekiel. Actually, I want to get to the point, man. I want to get to the point, so I'm sorry on that, y'all. I don't want to get too far off. I'll start at 4. And the Lord Yahweh said unto him, Go through the city, through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry for all abominations that be done in the midst thereof. And that's going into actually the elect, man. All right. For the men that sigh and cry of the abominations. Okay. Spiritually, that's the elect, man, because we are sighing and crying of the abominations. All right. And when you read up further down, this is Ezekiel getting the vision from one of the angels. Okay. Verse 5. And to the others he said, in my hearing, go ye after him through the city and smite. Let not your eye spare, neither have pity. Okay. Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women, but come not near any man upon him who is the mark, and who begin at my sanctuary. Then they begin in the ancient men which were before the house, okay, which were going into our ancient priests and prophets or whatever that were on the wicked side. All right. So the Lord there's no respect of person, man. Okay. Because why? According to Ecclesiastes 3 and 18 or 3 and 16, was it? The place of judgment is under the sun, which is heaven, man. All right. So you people are receiving your judgment, man. Okay. That's what that is, man. Let me see here. Get back into that video.
But to also put it in perspective, there's no question that compared to the rest of the world, we shoot each other more than anybody else.
No, absolutely.
Facts.
And to your point earlier, I think that part of that is our gun culture and a gun access culture. Coming from Chicago, being a native of Chicago, one thing that we have is a state that literally has the strictest gun laws in the country. However, its surrounding states, the entirety of the Midwest, does not. And over 95% of the guns that are funneled into Chicago are from states that are not Illinois. So I think that there's something to be said about the easy access to guns. Over the weekend, July 4th, one of the hardest things that police officers had trouble with in downtown Chicago was that 15 and 16-year-olds that they were corralling all had guns in their backpack.
Oh my God.
That makes a very tough situation for the police, because now you have all of these kids, hundreds of them. I think
Menstruous women bringing forth monsters, man. Okay, let's see if we can pull it up. Menstruous woman bringing forth monsters, man. And I know it's in the Apocrypha, but it won't pull it up. Just Salaki, just a second. Let me grab it. All right, Salaki on that. This is 2nd Esdras 5 and 8. There shall be a confusion also in many places. A lot of people don't understand what's going on. All right. A lot of people don't understand why the uptick in violence. Okay. Why the uptick in hatred. Why the uptick in racism. Why all this shit, man. Okay. And it's because the spirit of the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai is about done with this damn place, man. All right. Babylon the Great, man. Okay. So there shall be a confusion also in many places, and there shall be and the fire shall be oft sent out again, and the wild beasts shall change their places, and menstruous women she'll bring forth monsters, and we do see wild beasts changing their places. All right, seeing men get attacked by mountain lions, by bobcats, all kind of shit. And you see 15, 16-year-old kids in Chicago and numerous places with guns in their damn backpack, man, ready to make a move at any given point in time, man.
I think the last quote was 400, who had surrounded downtown, and the majority of those young people had weapons. I think that with the rise of the Black Lives Matter movement, the police reform movement, the right and right-wing media has basically said that a lot of the gun violence is a result of pulling back or cops being afraid to actually police certain communities because they don't want to end up on somebody's video camera. My issue with that is that I think you can police communities, you can protect people without using excessive force.
Or deadly
It seems
force.
to me, though, that there's not. Yeah, the numbers may be a little more, a little higher, but generally speaking, we're still looking at a problem that's been there for ages.
Yes, without a doubt. No, the gun violence in this country has been there since the dawn of this country. I mean, we glorify
We're a
it.
cowboy society.
Exactly. We
Yeah,
glorify
yeah,
it in our tales of the Old West and things like that. But at the end of the day, that's part of who we are. And what we have to ask ourselves as we walk into this 21st century, is that who we want to be 100 years from now? Is that really the kind of country we want to be? Because there's plenty of other countries around the world that get by without this much violence, whether it be police on citizen violence or citizen on citizens violence.
Unfortunately, to be able to do what you just requested, we're going to need lawmakers with a spine, and we don't happen to have a lot of those right now.
On either sides of the aisle.
And that means come for those guns, man. And we know that that's going to be ultimately one of the ultimate goals, right? But in order to do that, they have to get this anarchy and hell and chaos pushed, man. So again, it's just judgment, man. At the end of the day, this is Zechariah 3, and I think we're going to go Zephaniah, Salakia. Yeah. This is Zechariah 13 and 8. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord Yahweh, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein, and that's the elect. Okay, the third part is going to be the elect, man. All right, and Lord willing that the men that I learned from and that I break bread with are of the elect, man. Okay, Lord willing that they put the spirit on them to endure whatever comes away in their household. All right. In verse 9, and I will bring the third part through the fire, which is the elect, and I will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Lord Yahweh is my power. Again, and that's the elect being delivered, man. Okay, and that name is important. It was a woman on my comment board that was saying the name was not important. She can call him Jesus, whatever she wants to call him. All right, and just reprobate, man. All right, reprobate silver, and ultimately her judgment is going to come to her, man, because she's going to call on sweet Cesare Borgia, sweet Jesus, and to no avail, man. Complete and utter destruction is going to fall upon her. So we're going to get into this another video and see what they have to say.
Healthy volunteers needed for a research study in Austin. PPD is now enrolling a research study with compensation of...
Do you know what's normal in the United States? Gun terror, or what the United States calls gun violence. Let me give you an example. On the 4th of July, the United States celebrated its Independence Day. On the 4th of July weekend, 150 people were killed in gun terror across the country. There were at least 400 shootings. Shots were heard in Chicago, Texas, Virginia, and Ohio. In Chicago alone, at least 95 people were shot. The city's top cop said police recovered at least 6,100 guns. This was 26% more than the recovery during the same period last year. In Virginia, a 15-year-old boy was arrested. He shot 4 children over the weekend, all between the ages of 6 and 16. In Texas, an argument resulted in a gun war. At least 8 people were shot near a car wash. In Dallas, 5 men were found dead. Investigators are yet to determine the details. The question is, how is the U.S. reacting to all of this? The Chicago Tribune says the Independence Day weekend was marred by violence. CNN adds the word gun before violence. But overall, the reportage echoes a sense of normalcy, nothing out of the ordinary. Is that because gun terror is the norm in the US? You see, every year around 500 lives are lost to shootouts in America. 615 people died in 2020, 441 in 2019. Schools are attacked, nightclubs are attacked, places of worship are attacked. African Americans die disproportionately, and the White House does not do anything about it. Had it been anywhere else, any other country, the US may even have sent in its troops.
Mm-hmm.
But at home, the silent genocide is brushed aside. Next question. Why?
Why? Well, she's gonna give her input on why, but the answer to why is because they want hell, anarchy, and chaos to come about, man. All right, this is what they want. We can get it in 2nd Esdras 15 chapter. We all know. Says, let's start at the top. Behold, speak thou to the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord Yahweh, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. And all the things that you read in the scriptures are coming true, man. All right, the famines, the plagues, the pestilence, the destructions, death by sword. All right, death by judgment. Tornadoes, heat waves, all this other shit, man. All right. Fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. Like, you got niggas scoffing and mocking. All right. Even still to this point, you got your vocab Malones, your Sarnettas, all this other shit. But like, they have no answer for the prophecies and the scriptures, man. All right. For all the unfaithful should die in their unfaithfulness, like the vocab Malones and the Sarnettas and the TD Jakes and all you other non-believers, man. Okay, the Lord said, don't worry about them. Keep prophesying, because we have a job to do. All right, behold, verse 5, behold, says the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. And I just watched the video before I did this, my own video of what was it, the Ice Age farmer, I believe his name was, and they are in a food shortage over in overseas, man, because now they have the crops to grow the food, but they don't have the truck drivers to deliver the food, man. And it's purposely being put on the forefront because they want to create a famine, so the people can solely depend on the government, man. Okay, verse 6: for the wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Therefore, thus said the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. Let me see. I'm going to move down. I'll start at verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor their princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in the power. A man shall desire to go into a city, and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread, and for great tribulation, man. And we're seeing the beginning parts of these tribulations, man. All right, just the beginning parts. All right. Let me see here.
Why? Because America does not like to talk about problems at home. And if the problem has to do with America's very constitution, then talking about it is almost blasphemous. Gun rights are that sensitive an issue in America. You see, Americans have the right to keep and bear arms. The archaic right is a part of the country's Second Amendment. Does this mean that gun laws cannot be amended in the US? Well, they can. But the gun lobby is extremely powerful. If a leader outrightly opposes guns, he or she is likely to be out of office in no time. America also has more than $63 billion gun industry. It will cost a leader dearly if he or she tries to hammer this business. So
that's why they're going to have to bring in troops, man. That's why they're going to have to bring in troops, a planned pandemic or planned exercise to have a military presence 24 hours a day on the goddamn streets, man. That is going to happen, man.
Again, American presidents have prioritized gun rights over human rights. The results look like this. The US has 4% of the world's population, but 46% of the entire stock of privately owned arms. what do so many Americans need arms for? In a 2017 Pew Research, 13% of the respondents said that they keep firearms because they like collecting them. Today, you have more weapons in America than people. 393 million firearms for 327 million people. Anyone above the age of 18 can buy shotguns or rifles. Anyone above the age of 21 can get handguns in the US. There is no need for a license. You see, the more the number of guns, the more the gun terror. And the more the number of deadly weekends. From Barack Obama to Donald Trump, American presidents have endorsed stricter background checks as a solution to combat gun terror. On the 23rd of June, US President Joe Biden announced what he called a zero-tolerance policy towards gun terror. He also pushed for tougher background checks. And what happened? Less than 10 days later, the sound of firearms drowned the sound of fireworks. This Independence Day weekend comes as a reminder to the US that human rights and gun rights cannot coexist. If America wants to bring an end to gun terror, it must drop arms. 45 American presidents have failed to do this. How is Biden doing differently? WION is now available.
And yeah, man, ultimately that's going to be, there will be more blood in the streets, and martial law will come from it. And we'll wrap it up after this. This is Genesis 6:11. The earth also was corrupt before powers, and the earth was filled with violence. And the powers, or the Elohim, looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth. And power said unto Noah, or the Elohim said unto Noah, the end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them, and behold, I will destroy them from the earth. And that's what we're getting ready to see, man, except this time is going to be through thermal nuclear fire, man, via World War III, man. All right, that's how the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai is going to cleanse the earth. But you're seeing a purging on just a small scale right now, man. The elders and apostles always go down and wait till you see mass death, like 800 or 900, at one time, man. It's going to get crazy, man. All right. So hopefully this lesson was edifying. I want to give our praise and glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Shalom.